Today we're talking about foundations. Let's recap the last few shows that we had. First show was basically how to get all your information together to start a project, get a budget, and then we went on to selecting the professional to help you with your design needs or design build needs, depending on which direction you wanted to take. And now today we are going to get in the ground, as it were. We're going to start the production of the project. And so we brought John in today because John has done a lot of excavating and foundation work and has seen a lot of different things out there, and his expertise is probably very important to you folks who have never done it before. So if you have any questions or you're about to dig out there and start your project, the radio station here.
It's a great time to call.
Yeah, call in 651-1110. Give us a shout and give John a shout because he is the Mr. Knowledge today. And he is the expert in the field, and we are going to have him talk to us about the process of how does it start, John. Say we're ready to do an addition. We've stripped the house back and everything's prepped, and now we're going to start digging for the foundation. Where do we go? How does it work?
Well, first off, if you're doing it yourself, if you hired a contractor, you're general contracting, it all depends. First and foremost, the most important thing, whether you're in New York or New Jersey, is to get a dig number. And if you're doing it yourself, you'd be calling the proper numbers in your area. And I'm not sure about New Jersey, but New York is they have certain numbers to call. And once you do that, then you're ready to go. Then you go to your town and you get your permits. And after you excavate, in this area is 42 to 48 inches.
John, let me ask you a question. Who are you calling really to get a number?
Yeah, the dig number. What is the dig number? Explain that.
Call before you dig.
Yeah, Earl knows that. I knew Earl was going to come in with that.
Earl understands this.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the number actually on air.
No, it's not the number. I mean, what kind of person?
The process. Like what?
Who are we calling? Are we calling the town? Are we calling
You're calling
utilities?
It's actually a utilities commission that has hired this company, and what they do is they call that number there will call and notify the following people: utility companies, cable companies, different types of telephone companies, anything that services that individual area.
So that's one point of contact.
So everything that's under the ground that you got to worry about with that one phone call, that covers most of it?
Absolutely. That's good.
Okay, so the dig number keeps you legal at that point.
Right. Legal beagle, yeah.
Legal beagle.
And they then come out and they mark the property with flags and
they
so
mark
forth?
the property.
Any underground utilities or anything in the way?
They call the town. They call the town up because there's town water. And what happens then is a very important thing to do is not just get the mark out on the street. If you're digging, like say you mentioned earlier about like a side renovation, you need to get the property marked out too. Now this doesn't cover sometimes like a local cable company, your dog fence. There's no way of tracking that type of stuff. But for the most part, sometimes you have a propane company that's not. Sometimes
tanks.
People put these tanks in the ground, don't even know about them. So you do have to be careful with that. But for the most part, people that are doing the additions will know what these things are. But your basic utilities and...
Excellent.
Things that go boom.
Things that go boom in the day or the night. Earl, we know about that. So what would you do? How would you, if you were going to start a job, you dig very slowly, I guess, so you get through the first 2 or 3 feet. As you're digging alongside the house.
I got a question. Go back to that number one more time before we pass
the dig number.
Yeah, when you make that phone call, are they aware of what other things are in the ground, or is that your responsibility? Who really knows? I mean, you're in an existing house. I mean, do you know what's under the ground? Do you have an idea? I mean, how do you know?
Well, that's a very good question. Sometimes you can look at pre-existing. You could see on the street where things come into your house. So you go into your basement if you do have a basement. And you could look in the areas and you could say, okay, well, my gas is coming out here, and I know where the gas is coming on the street. So they're going to use the quickest point to get there. Sometimes your water line might not be the same line as your gas line.
I would think it would be different lines altogether.
Absolutely. And sometimes even when you go into this, you get your water lines and you get your septic. And this area is prone to septic.
When you go back to that number, because that's the thing that they have to remember before you dig, you got to make a call.
Right.
And you're talking to utilities. Do they have an idea what goes on, or do you have to come up with a plot plan? Do you have to investigate it, or are they really informed at that point what was previously there on the property?
What they do at that point is they call the fellow companies, and they come out, and the onus is on them at that point.
Okay, that's good to know.
And they come out and they mark out the property. They do that, and they give you a confirmation number, which is very important to take down. whether you're an excavator or
Homeowner.
homeowner, like, it's very important, guys, to take and gals, to take that number down, that confirmation number. And if you give them a fax number, they will fax you that. And what this leaves you is a paper trail to cover yourself.
In case.
Yeah.
Does
in
that
case
also go on the
anything
window
happens.
with those red dot permit things?
Well, if you're getting red dots, that's not a good sign.
A
You want
flag
the
number.
orange ones.
The
Orange or
orange,
green.
yeah.
Green is go,
Green
Green
is
is
go,
go.
right.
Yeah. So, what you want really is you want to cover yourself. So furnish them with a fax number. Furnish them, get the confirmation number once you make that call. And what that does is covers yourself. I mean, heck, I remember once I was on a job, and this was in Jersey, and it was new construction, and we had the mark out. The mark out was 20 feet offline, and we hit a water main. We hit a water main. We had to shut down, half that neighborhood. And, we were covered.
That's
we were
good.
covered.
That's
yeah,
good.
We were covered, and, it just was like, wow, not our fault.
Now, whose fault how does that work? I
Well,
mean,
that what had happened was this. This was an old line, old ductile line, and it was the
Hold
town.
on, John, a second. Rich is yelling from the booth. We got a call coming in. Afternoon, this is the ABCs of Home Improvement. You're talking to Mike. Can I help you?
Yeah, hi. My question is, are you prepared for my question?
I don't know the
yeah,
question.
who is this and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Tom, and I'm calling from the Wallkill area. I'm on my cell phone.
Excellent. Hello, Tom. Okay, go ahead. Ask a question.
My wife and I have recently decided on putting an addition onto our home, and we've settled on, what we want square footage-wise. We've gotten the permits, and we've had an architect do a drawing. However, the actual retaining a contractor is a little bit overwhelming to us. How many bids should we really get, and what should we do at that point in time? How would we decipher which bid is legitimate, and how would we move forward after that?
We're going to let Earl handle that one. Earl, what do you think?
Okay, Tom. Well, there's 100 ways to answer that question, but we're only going to go with one. That's Earl's answer,
All right.
and that is, you're putting an addition on your home. First call, American Design and Build, as one of your bidders. 845-283-6763, because we'd like to be in on that project. Let's say it's a 2-story bump out. You're bumping out the kitchen on the first floor and your master bedroom on the second floor. And you're going to add a nice big master bedroom, bathroom, and walk-in closet for your wife. Big kitchen. Okay, let's say that your bids, you're going to invite 3 bidders. That's what most people do. You're going to have a low bidder, you're going to have a medium bidder, and you're going to have a high bidder.
All right, makes sense.
At American Design and Build, we're never the low bidder.
That's right.
It's silly, and I'm going to tell you why. The project sounds like $100,000. So you got one person in at $100,000. That's the third place bidder. That's the high bidder. You got a second place bidder in at about $95,000, and you've got the number one bidder, $80,000. Okay, now
That's
I'd read.
20%.
That's a big
Yeah,
difference.
I would red flag that immediately.
Yeah.
And that's why we say throw out the low bidder. And I'm going to tell you why. The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price.
Very good, Earl.
Okay? How you
That's
like that
right.
one?
I like that one. I like
How about
that
chewing on
response.
that one there, Tom from
That's
Walk
it.
Hill?
Yeah, Tom, what do you think of that?
No, I appreciate your advice. I'm going to share that with my wife, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on.
Yeah, good.
I appreciate all that information.
All right, don't go yet. I'll tell you when to hang up. I got one more for you. I want to quote John Ruskin. And this one I want you to record and remember.
Okay.
The common law of business balance prohibits paying a little and getting a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
It can't be done.
Good
If you
point.
deal with the lowest bidder, it is well to add something for the risk you run. And if you do that, you will have enough to pay for something better. John Ruskin, everybody.
Very good, Earl. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. Hey, Tom, what do you think of that, huh? So the ABC's of Home Improvement does come up with some good stuff. You didn't know that Earl had it in him. How about that?
No, I've been satisfied. Thank you. That was great.
Excellent. Thanks for
again.
the call.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
All right, ciao.
Okay, now back to our guest host, John Sebastian from Sebastian Construction.